Number 10 in the 42 ideas on leadership comes to us from Eric Berne. Eric Berne wrote a book back in 1964 called Games People Play, and it was initially to describe transaction analysis, which was the method for studying interactions between individuals. And through this, he recognized that people have three different personas within them, which may manifest themselves in different ways depending on the context. These three personas are the parent, the child, and the adult. The parent are our automatic responses. These are the lessons that we would have learned as children from our parents or parent figures. Things like, always tidy your room, do not talk to strangers, you have to work to make money, you should be fair at all times, you should listen before you speak, look both ways before crossing the road. Automatic responses. And this parent is directly activated when we copy what the parent would have done rather than listening to them. It's indirectly activated when we respond the way parents wanted us to respond, which means I should do this because this is what my parents told me to do. So there are two different ways that the parent can be activated in us. And there's two different types of parents or parenting mode that can be activated in us. The critical parent, which is focused on rules and norms and expectations, and the nurturing parent, which is unconditional acceptance, hope, optimism, and self-recognition. So what we have to do is we have to recognize these automatic responses and start wondering where they came from. Are they being directly related to the situation at hand? Are they rational responses to the situation? Or are we simply operating from an automatic pilot basis? So this is the first thing that we have to recognize. Is the parent in control? The child is the emotions or feelings that would have accompanied external events. So something that would have happened when you were small might have had a rational excuse or reason or explanation behind it, but it would have created a strong emotional feeling in us. And as adults, we continue to have that emotional response. Now, there's two different types of child within us, or child personas. The adapted child behaves in two ways. The first way is the way we were told to behave by our parent figures. The other way the adapted child can react is through whining or withdrawing. So in an argument with another person as an adult, we can speak rationally, or we start complaining about how unfair life is and how the other person is always creating problems for you, or you would simply leave the room because you just don't want to talk anymore. So that would be whining or withdrawing, and it would be the adapted child. In this case, the natural child is a spontaneous expression. It's rebellion or creativity. It's free of the parent. So while the adapted child is adapting to the parent's expectations, the natural child is spontaneous expression, rebellion or creativity. These are the child. Now, the adult is when we're thinking rationally. This is necessary for survival. The adult will process data and computes the probabilities which are essential for dealing effectively with the outside world, regulates the activities of the parent and child to try and keep them in check, and mediates objectively between them. The adult is logical and rational. If you have a conversation, for example, an adult conversation between a boss and an employee, the boss would say, I would like you to finish the work, or maybe have you finished the work yet? And the other adult, the employee in this case, would say, I'm working on it at present, I'll be finished very soon. However, if the same conversation happens with two other personas, the child and parent, what can happen at the psychological level is that the boss will have a parent saying, oh, have you got the work done? I'm always having to ask you about the work. You don't ever finish it on time. Here I am after you again. And the child, the other adult, may respond frustrated and tired and saying, just leave me alone. I want to go home. I don't want to be here any longer. So what happens is that the adult conversation is happening on the surface, but there may be a psychological conversation happening beneath, which is the parent and child. And very often that's where the conflict can arise. Now, the Games People Play is the name of the book. And Eric Berne says that a game is a dishonest strategy we use as a child to get what we wanted from the world, and which we continue to use as adults. So very often these were from an emotional basis. They weren't based on logic or on a rational way, and there were strategies which were very successful when we were children to get attention, to not necessarily love, because the transaction analysis sometimes is based more on getting a stroke. And a stroke, according to Eric Berne, is 1 unit of social interaction. So sometimes it could be that the other person gets angry with you. But again, from transaction analysis, that is a stroke. So therefore, we are satisfied from that transaction with the other person. So sometimes the strategy of the child is to get other people angry with us. And therefore, we satisfy our need for in the transaction analysis in this case. So examples of different games that Eric Berne talks about, there are 36 in total in his book, would be the kick me game, see what you made me do, if it weren't for you, let's you and him fight, cops and robbers, the wooden leg. As you can see, there's some very interesting names, and they describe interactions between different actors. And normally there's the main character, and then there's the other people who are responding. Very often, again, it's that there's one person who's playing the role of the child and using the strategy that they use as a child, and they're trying to get the strokes, they're trying to get the response from another figure, which is the adult figure in the game, and then there are other secondary actors in the game. So, for example, the game Alcoholic, the 5 roles would be white, the persecutor, the rescuer, the patsy, and connection. And all of these play different roles in the game. What can we take away from games people play by Eric Berne? Well, the first one is that we must be aware that we are less in control than we think we are. Sometimes it's the parent in control, so there's an automatic response. Sometimes it's the child in control, using emotional strategies, dishonest games to get what we want. Not that just other people are using them, but that we are also using them. The next step is that we have to identify the games so that we can stop playing them. If we want to overcome problems in our lives because we're using children's strategies when we're adults, we have to identify first what it is we're doing so we can stop them. And the third thing that we can take away from this is that we have different personas. And it's important to recognize which one is in control in a given social interaction. And obviously, in a business setting or when we're dealing with other adults in a very important scenario or situation, it should really be the adult that is in control and not the child and not the parent. So this is number 10 in the 42 Ideas on Leadership. It comes to us from Eric Berne and is based on his book Games People Play, published in 1964.